Hello, I'm Jim, and welcome to Rallying in America, the Recce podcast. This podcast is an exploration of a rich history, the stories and memories of those who made and make Rallying in America so great. Enjoy the show. Before I jump into the latest episode, I'm excited to announce I have the opportunity to share some of the wonderful stories from this year's Olympus Rally with you all. I'm heading west in April to do interviews, but I'm going to need your help. Please consider donating. Any amount will help to cover my expenses for the trip. Check out my podcast Facebook page, Rallying in America, the Recce podcast. Check out the Olympus post and use the link in the comments to donate today. Thank you for listening and supporting the podcast. Your support helps share the stories of American Rally through grassroots efforts. Now this week, my guest is rally driver Steve Bis. Steve talks about his 22-year journey in rally racing, starting with his first rally at Rally Colorado in the early 2000s. Steve details his recent acquisition of his 2013 Ford Fiesta N5 rally car and his preparation for the upcoming rally in the 100-Acre Wood coming up this week in Missouri. We discuss Steve's plans to compete nationally and some sponsorship opportunities. We also talk about the camaraderie and unique experiences within the rally community. Well, Steve, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Jim, for having me. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, you have a pretty interesting history. You've been in rally for, what, is this your 22nd or 23rd year?
Yeah, 22nd or 23rd. I think it started at Rally Colorado in 2003, which was CCA back then, and a good friend of mine that I met at a TV store I worked at was like, "Hey, we should go rallycross and then go to this rally," and we ended up volunteering. And that year was like, guys from Canada, and I think Travis was coming all around, and
nice.
Pat Richard and all those guys. And I remember standing on the side of the road, just like waiting for these cars, just waiting and waiting, and they put me, like I was like 17 or 18. They put me on the side of this road in like elk hunting country. And these guys and I'm supposed to stop the road from these guys coming in to like just go onto the stage with big trucks and stuff.
Oh, right.
I've got nothing. I've got like a water and a half a sandwich and like a FRS radio. No one else, no vehicle, no nothing.
Wow.
And about 6 hunters came out of a big truck and were like, "Oh, we're getting on this road, kid." And I'm like, "No, we really can't." And they're calling elk and they're shooting at things in the distance. So I'm like, I don't know which is going to kill me first, like a car or a elk hunter. But
right.
They stayed off the road, and about a mile away, my buddy's car ended up the window getting broken out of it from a flying rock.
Oh, wow.
I think from Pat Richard's car, and weirdly, that was, like, thinking back on it now, that's Grant Hughes. So that was one of the original owners of Rally Build.
Oh, okay.
Here in Colorado, and him and I have been friends since then, hardcore, and like I don't know, just kind of built like a serious relationship with him, and he and so we ended up going to 100-Acre Wood like 4 months later in a car he bought, and I co-drove, so it was crazy.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Do you mainly drive now or still co-drive now and then?
I mainly drive, but when I am in between cars is when I end up truly getting into the co-driver seat or volunteering or crewing or whatever it takes. Yeah.
So short shortly after, what happened after Rally Colorado? Did you get bitten by the bug despite those elk hunters, or?
Yeah, I mean it was there forever. As a kid, it was like
Mm-hmm.
I was always looking for the Hot Wheels that were like the old Group B
Oh
cars
yeah,
and things like that.
right.
And oh my gosh, my um, Group B cars. And then like the kids on the street would play like monster truck RC cars, and I'd always look for like the old legacy RC cars. And
Oh
like
sweet.
it was always there since I was a kid. So it's like the bug was there, but I didn't know how to find it.
Mm-hmm.
And that same guy, Grant, we worked at this TV shop and it had all the satellite TV in the world and it was great. And we would every Wednesday, remember on like Speed TV, they'd have the WRC on Speed
Right,
TV,
right, yeah.
like way back in the day. And every Wednesday night, it was just him and I on the shift. And we would just like we'd turn every TV, like 70 TVs in this TV place to Speed TV.
Oh,
And like
awesome.
customers would come in and be like, hey, can I ask you guys questions about this TV? And we're like, no, I'll come back tomorrow. Like we're watching the rally. And so the bug was always there, but him and I got started, and he had connections I didn't have. He was a couple of years older than I was, and I kind of
Mm-hmm.
like gravitated towards his, I mean, experience, like
Yeah,
a 22-year-old leading an 18-year-old. There's still no experience at all. But
right, right.
so yeah, he went and bought a '84 Dodge Colt Turbo, and we went to 100 Acre Wood in '04, and I co-drove for him. And co-driving back then was like, I mean, it was tulips. There was no notes, so you're just like,
Right, okay.
hey, you didn't have a recce.
Mm-hmm.
You would just go to these rallies and they'd be like, here's the start line. And the next call would be like, hey, in a mile, there's going to be a mailbox. Turn left at that mailbox. It was just to keep you on the route. It was completely
Oh,
blind.
yeah, right.
The whole rally was blind. No, none of the top guys knew where they were, like what was coming around the next corner.
Gotcha.
Well, we did the first stage and we were blown away. Like this car was so powerful and so dangerous. Like I was like, we're gonna win our first rally. Like that's how I felt.
Oh, cool.
And the second stage, we ended up coming around a corner on a car that had crashed pretty bad. Like they went
Okay.
home in a chopper,
Oh,
and we were
geez.
first on the scene. We're like teenagers, like helping, you
Yeah.
know, like like a pretty injured driver and co-driver in this Mitsubishi Eclipse, and
Mm-hmm.
the road was blocked, and we avoided hitting them and hit a tree ourselves, and
Oh, wow.
uh, spent all night. I mean, the stories that I could go on because
Yeah.
they're like the organizers are like talking to our crew, and they're like, "Hey, you're the crew of that red Dodge Colt, right?" And
Mm.
they're like, "Yeah," and this is a remote service, no cell phones. This is pre-cell phone.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, "Oh, your crew had a crash and they're being flown to St. Louis." And then they're about like, "Okay, I guess we're going to St. Louis." And
Yeah.
then they go, "Wait, which car number are you?" And they're like, "Oh, I think we're 441 back then or something."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, never mind. Those guys are fine. They're transiting to your
Oh
location."
my
It's
gosh. I
like,
would have had a heart attack.
I know. So,
Oh, wow.
uh, but we spent all night fixing the car
Yeah.
and, um, you know, pulling the bumper out with straps and beams and other vehicles and
Yeah.
flipping the fans around because they're all crushed into the radiator. I mean, it was a complete disaster that first rally, but we did it, and we came back to Colorado, and
Uh-huh.
uh, I was rally crossing at the time, but I knew that I was like, I gotta get into my own car.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked my mom, like the wonderful mom she is, to borrow more and more money that I always kept borrowing,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And and I don't know if I told her or not, but I borrowed money from her, and then um and I went down about an hour away and bought a SCCA Club Rally fully prepped car.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was 3,500 bucks,
Yeah.
like tires, wheels, seats, everything, lights. It
Really?
was
Wow.
incredible. It was a 91 Eagle Talon TSI.
Oh, okay.
And and man, it had back then the restrictors were massive, so you could run a ton of horsepower, but the thing was heavy. It wouldn't stop. It wouldn't
Okay.
turn. It had about 2 inches of suspension travel. It was frightening.
Hmm.
But I brought it home, and I think she was expecting me to maybe buy a commuter car for school,
Mm-hmm.
but instead I bought a race car. And I worked on it at her house. I mean, I did so much stuff solo, but I think I just came to the realization that um, after buying that car, that I didn't make enough money to pay someone to build these cars for me.
Gotcha.
And then I wasn't good enough to have someone pay the bills for me to race,
Mm-hmm.
any kind of sponsorship. So I ended up kind of getting into the world of building my own cars.
Very nice.
And and kind of just started to gravitate towards people that were doing it. There's a big Pikes Peak scene here.
Yeah, right.
And so you'd go to Pikes Peak, and then you'd be like, you'd start meeting people at rally crosses, and then like this little bike shop I worked at, the manager, he had a '88 Toyota Celica rally car.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah, and he'd bring it to the shop sometime, and you'd go up the block, and you'd be like, this is it. Like, I got to figure this out. So you just start talking to people and asking people, and eventually I ended up with a job. Um, I did multiple other jobs and
Mm-hmm.
things like that, but I ended up at a job where we were working on Audis professionally,
Mm-hmm.
but on the back side of that, we were building rally cars. Like, the boss at the time, or the shop foreman at the time, he was building a Pikes Peak Audi hill climb car.
Mm-hmm.
And tried to help him with that, and tried to like learn what I could and about building engines and building hand built all the roll cages. And yeah, he pushed me really hard. Like, there's a lot of things that he'd be like, your welds got to look perfect clean. They got
Mm-hmm.
to look great. They got to look
Right.
awesome. And,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, I hope I can, like, for one, make them safe, but like make them as nice as the ones he would make.
Yeah.
And I think looking back, I think he pushed me beyond what he could even do. So it ended up turning me into, like, I could make some really cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Him and I ended up getting into business together later. And we started our own shop, a different shop, and we ended up like, there was nothing, there was no one paying the bills. There was no one coming in to get their Audis or Volkswagens worked on.
I got it. Yeah.
So we were just doing whatever we could. You want to bring in an MR2 and we're going to cage it? Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's put some safety equipment in your BMW, or build a Corvette for, you know, endurance rally in Mexico. Whatever paid the bills at the time, we did, and we just built cars nonstop. I mean,
Nice.
we built a Pikes Peak Evo for a guy and his son, and he didn't green light the project until like the Saturday before Pikes Peak.
Oh my.
So tech inspection's like on Tuesday morning,
Right.
and we built the street Evo, and then on Saturday we started it,
Mm-hmm.
and on Tuesday morning it went and passed tech Pikes Peak.
Oh my word. You
It
must have
was
been burning the midnight oil for sure, right?
it, it was some of the longest days and weeks ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it also goes way back to even before that, to high school. There was a geology teacher that was like, I wasn't very good at geology or school in
Mm-hmm.
general.
Yeah.
And um, he's like, hey, come see me after class. I was like, boy, I'm in trouble. And I was, because I was a terrible student, but he
Yeah.
was like, you're not a very good student. I'm like, no, I know. And he goes, but at my house, I have a bunch of road race rally cars, and I need your help fixing them up so we can go race them.
Oh
And I was like,
wow.
okay. And I went to this guy's house. He wanted to race in Mexico too, endurance rally. This is all before I even met Grant or went to my first rally cross or any of that. Was that guy? You open these back garages of his house. He's got like Jaguars from the 50s,
Oh wow.
and
Yeah.
old Alfa Romeo road race cars, and
Amazing.
Mercedes-Benz rally cars, and we worked and worked and worked on them like on the weekends and on
Yeah.
summers. And he'd take us to the track on a couple of cars that were ready, and he'd go rip them around and
Yeah.
test them. And we never made those races, but I think that again, there was people that I think kind of built that fire from that was already there, but really
Yeah.
built it into something
Yeah.
else. So,
So,
um,
what kind of salary did that teacher get for having all those cars? We'll be right back. Power up your ride. Daily driver, bike, or track beast with Melee Design Firm. Since 2018, Melee has been the go-to source for high-performance battery mounts and power solutions trusted by enthusiasts and professionals alike. Whether you're carving corners on the weekend, commuting to work, or chasing podiums, they have the gear to keep you powered and ready. Their lightweight universal battery mounts are engineered for performance, crafted with precision, and designed to handle whatever you throw their way. They don't just make and sell parts, they build confidence under the hood. Rugged, industrial, functional. That's the Melee difference. Join thousands of satisfied drivers who refuse to settle for stock. Upgrade your battery game today. Now back to the show.
oh, you mean like at school?
Yeah.
I don't. Well,
I'm just,
he was
yeah,
a
it's kind of
college
funny.
professor,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of like retired into high school teacher. But then
Gotcha.
I think he was using the high school students to do a lot of his geology assays. So he'd get all these
Uh,
samples in from all over the world, and then he'd have the kids running all the samples, and then he'd send all the data back and get paid on them. So he was
okay.
kind of like had this little like student labor force of checking
Oh,
all
that's
these.
funny.
Yeah, he was a character. Like he I don't know, just rally guy, road race guy,
Yeah.
um, smart, interesting guy. But it was yeah, it kind of got all the fired up in me, and I
Yeah.
don't know, it's always just been rally cars, and I've done it all from build them to race them to co-drive them to
Yeah.
volunteer to I mean build the. Seems like we organized a couple small rally sprints
Mm-hmm.
and just have all the stories of what feels like. Yeah, I've been at it longer than I haven't been at it in my life.
Oh, wow. That's pretty
So
amazing. Now, you said
yeah.
you worked in your email, just going through it, said that
Hmm.
you internationally you worked as a tech on some USA teams.
Yeah. So back when our shop, which I just recently sold,
Mm-hmm.
uh, when it first got started, Matt Matt Johnson, who was a pro rally driver in the SCCA days, maybe early Rally America days,
Mm-hmm.
um, he wanted to go and race the Rally of Nations in Mexico.
Awesome.
And the Rally of Nations in Mexico was like when the WRC was an off year, Rally
Mm-hmm.
Nations would happen.
Oh, okay.
And the Rally Nations was they had a USA A team and a USA B team. We were USA B team.
Okay.
And it was Matt Johnson and Cowboy Kenny Bartram.
Okay.
And they were in these like rented and borrowed Subarus. Um, and Matt and Chrissy Beavis were in one car, and then Cowboy Kenny and his co-driver were in another.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to Mexico, and I mean, we pre-prepped a bunch of stuff in Colorado, like wrapped the cars, and they're both rentals. You know, Red Bull wrapped them,
Oh, wow, nice.
and bought all of our flights down there. It was pretty great,
Mm-hmm.
and Matt drove the whole, box truck and two-car trailer all the way down to Mexico, and everything's there, and we're ready to race. And it turns out that the whole USA team thing was like Matt Johnson's idea of having this huge compilation of like some of the best like at the time,
Mm-hmm.
approaching pro or pro rally drivers that you could have to be on the team. So like um our team lead was Andrew Pinkard, which was like a guy from I think he was from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
He was a character. We had like guys from like ESPN covering it and doing photographs, and then like the USA A team was like Pat Morrow, like the guy that runs that Chevy Sonic now.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, he was running this black Subaru. I think he rolled on the second day. It
Oh
was it was a
wow.
bummer. He was doing really good too.
Yeah.
Um, and Matt Johnson, I think, taught me a lot about paying attention to what a car would do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that Mexico experience, the Mexico fans and everything, they're so excited. Like you drive a car from A to B just to go get it a car wash or something,
Yeah.
and people are stopping you in the streets, being like, "Hey, sign my shirt and sign this and sign
Mm.
this." I'm like, "Hey, I'm just the mechanic, man. I'm not the driver." And they're like, "I don't care. Like you're our heroes," and it
Oh
shows
wow.
how strong the sport is, especially internationally.
Yeah.
But Matt would, we'd go to the. It was amazing what he did. Like the difference between him as a driver and other drivers that I knew. We all went out to the shakedown stage, and Matt does like two passes up this, 2 or 3 kilometer road, comes
Mm-hmm.
back and he goes, the back of the car needs to be 1 inch higher. I was like, okay. So we
Mm-hmm.
raised the car one
Oh
inch.
yeah.
He goes on that loop again. He's like, it's perfect, but the right front rotor is broken. I was like, how do you know that? And he could feel every little thing in the car.
Yeah. They say Nicky Lauda was that way. He
That,
said he
well,
could
Matt
feel it
John,
in he said he could feel it in his ass. Like if
oh,
something was
well,
wrong, he'd be like,
oh,
okay, the
totally.
the fan belt's about to break.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, and I think ever since then, like, I kind of wanted to experience that kind of feeling and try and
Mm,
really pay attention to what my inner ear and my body was telling me in a car. And
yeah.
it worked out really well too for being an Audi Volkswagen service shop. Like, you could go around the block and be like, you know exactly what's wrong with the car just from a 2 minutes of driving it.
Right, right.
But that translated really well into rally, and Matt taught that, not taught it to me, but I kind of just saw that in him, and I really thought that was cool. Like
Yeah.
he'd come back from an entire leg out at the Mexico rally and be like, um, he'd give you these like little tiny insights on the
Mm,
car, just like, and there wasn't a lot to adjust on those cars because they were all effectively just like old Group N cars,
mm,
old road going cars with
yeah.
dual suspension on, and he would just but he'd come back with these little tiny details and we'd make changes and he'd respond to these and he'd go to Cowboy Kenny, who was just kind of a fresh guy, kind of like, I think he was a motocrosser previous or something like
Yeah, okay.
that,
Yeah.
kind of been all in that same crew of like, um those motocrossers that were kind of switching over to rally.
Yeah.
And uh and he'd come back, he'd go, Kenny, what's wrong with the car? And he goes, nothing. I go, well, do you need any changes? He's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't paying attention to that.
No, okay.
And uh, you'd ask Kenny like, how's the car feel? He's like, yeah, fine. And then the ESPN photographer would come back, and he's like, dude, look at Kenny's car. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, anything big that happened in there? He's like, no, we're good. And he's got a picture of this car like 7, 8 feet off the ground, like jumping. And I go, well, Ken, you gonna tell us about this? And he's like, no, I felt fine. Well, then the very next stage, like the rear suspension broke or the rear
Oh,
axle or
oh no.
something because he didn't even like. There's nothing to check. Everything's fine. Like he didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I don't
Wow.
know. Kind of interesting, but the stories from like, you know, Matt Johnson too. Like at the same time, he'd be like, hey, this gearbox doesn't feel quite as crisp. I have an extra one. Will we switch it out?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I've been up for like 40 hours already
Yeah.
working on these cars. But yeah, let's go for it. Like, so I'm switching the gearbox and finally, um, one of the guys on the team goes, hey, Steve, get out here. And I would go, what? And I was like, dude, I'm busy. I'm putting this gearbox in. He goes, no, get out here. I'm like, finally, I roll out from under the car
Mm-hmm.
and it's Petter Solberg.
Oh wow.
He's just standing right there. And
Wow.
I was like, Petter, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm like he's the star of that rally Mexico.
Yeah.
And he's like one of my heroes. So I got a picture of him in my garage. We're both holding impact guns and he's just acting like he's working on the car with me. And
Oh, that's fun.
it's just funny to meet some of those like hero-y guys in the
Yeah.
sport, you know, ones that I would just, I don't know. It was one of those kind of great hero moments. And I'm telling Petter like, "Hey, come to Pikes Peak." And
Yeah.
Marcus Grunholm runs Pikes Peak. You
Yeah.
should run it. He's like, "No, I'm busy with Rallycross." And like, because he'd already had his World Rally Championships, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just so cool to meet some of those heroes. And you also realize some of your heroes are not the same people that you thought they were. Like
Right.
some of those top tier World Rally drivers, they know how to party and drink like nobody's business.
I can
It,
imagine.
oh my gosh, they every moment of their life was like it was the last day they were going to live.
Mm-hmm.
So they just send it all the time. So
Right. Oh yeah.
yeah, but anyway, that was a good Mexico experience, and I learned a lot from Matt and about how big rallies were run and how to do them
Mm-hmm.
internationally, and I mean, ACP was there, Andrew Conte Picard, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
um, and guys, lots of the guys like to party. I think that
Oh yeah.
was that was one of the other thing. They raced hard. They were top tier professional, but
Mm-hmm.
when the race was over,
Yeah.
you had to be ready to party as well. So it was fun.
So is that when you the the Mexico event that you met Ken Block, or do
Oh
you see him there as well?
no, that was later. We went back for a WRC year,
Okay.
like to go back. I think one of my first years as a competitor at Rally Colorado was one of Ken's first seasons. So this was previous to even that.
Okay. Okay.
And I've got my Eclipse. No, it wasn't Eclipse. It was yeah, it was no, it was an Eagle Talon. That was my first rally car. That one that I bought with my
Yeah.
mom's borrowed money. And we go to Rally Colorado, and Ken was in that new like Impreza wagon, kind of a new 05, 06, 07, like
Mm-hmm.
top of the line. And I'm standing by the car in the Park Expose, and I'm like, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
Like he thinks that he can just come in and like take over the sport. He's got all this money from this shoe business or skater or something. And my buddy's like, man, shut up. And I was like, no, I'm serious. And I was just gonna like talk and talk and talk. And I was like, finally, I'm like looking at him, and he's looking at me. I go, oh, he's standing right behind me, isn't he? And he's like, yeah. So Ken's like standing over my shoulder. So that's how I effectively met Ken.
Oh
So
wow.
I think for a long time, I think him and I stayed away from each other because I was kind of a loudmouth, maybe still
Okay.
am. And but honestly, he proved everyone wrong. Like he was a top driver and athlete.
Yeah.
But eventually, yeah, I ran into him a couple other times. Like on the way back from a WRC year in Mexico, we just went to spectate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you go to the Leon airport, central Mexico, and all the planes that fly out of there are just like, they're not big planes. They're just
Yeah.
little tiny ones.
Yeah.
Well, I think Ken had actually competed in that event. Can't really remember his result, but so we're back in the plane. We're sitting about middle of the wing, and big storms in Texas where a connecting flight was ended up getting delayed, and we had to stop at this like little Texas regional airport. So we're
Mm-hmm.
all sitting in this airplane, but we're an international flight, so they won't let us off the plane.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there, and everyone's like, "Okay, stay in your seats." And it's hot, and it's rainy outside, and it's
Mm-hmm.
muggy. And before you know it, there's these two toddlers, these two girls that are just like running up and down the center aisle of this plane. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, okay, I get it. They're kids and they're
Yeah.
getting a little rambunctious. We've been
Right.
sitting on the
Right.
pavement here for an hour. And I look back, and it's Lucy and Leah Block as kids, like as little kids running up and
Oh,
down the aisle.
not Lucy, but yeah,
Not Lucy, Leah
Leah.
and
I
oh
forget her
my
name.
yeah,
There's Micah,
Um,
Leah. Yeah, right.
oh,
Kira.
right.
Kira.
Yeah,
Is it
is
Kira?
that right? No, I can't
That sounds
remember.
right. I can't remember either.
I don't know. But so Ken's kids is like, like waist high, you know,
Yeah.
kid that are now racing professionally now, we're like running up and down the aisle of this
Yeah.
plane, and Ken's like trying to chase him down and trying to keep him controlled a little bit. It was
Yeah.
just kind of a funny story, just to remind you, even like these big superstar drivers, they're still just, they're family people, and they're um, just regular people, and it's
Mm-hmm.
nice. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, just kind of a weird story of,
Oh yeah.
like we're going to race in 100 Acre Wood in a couple of weeks, and Leah's going to be there, and it would be
Yeah.
kind of funny. So,
Yeah. It's interesting watching her this year. That really sucked for her at Snowdrift and having
yeah,
engine failure. So it'd be interesting. I
yeah.
think she was when I was watching or looking at Sneak Attack. Her times just kept getting faster and
Oh
faster.
yeah,
Like, and so yeah, it was a bummer. But
yeah. She's real skilled, and um, yeah, I look forward to racing with her. Actually, I think in the same class too. Finally,
hmm
so
so
um,
yeah, tell us about that. Tell us about the car that you're going to be driving and at 100
yeah,
Acre Wood, right? Is your plans to
yeah,
for the first
yeah,
one?
yeah. Today's the cutoff day, so I think I'm committed at this point. So,
Okay.
um, yeah, so I had so many rally cars, the 91 Eclipse, not Eclipse, Eagle Talon, they were the same car, and
hmm
then like multiple Imprezas and an STI in there, and another open light Impreza, and then finally my Audi Volkswagen shop, I built an Audi Volkswagen that was actually like
Mm.
more represented at that shop, and I built a 16 four-wheel drive Golf R. Um, really, really interesting, weird build, like no roadmap for how to build that car. And
hmm
it was on like dual clutch paddle shift, which they had to like change some ARA rules for me on that one.
Yeah.
And but it was all factory, and that car was a really interesting car, good hill climb car, really powerful. And
hmm
but it was about representing the shop. Well, I kind of wanted a car that went to the next level. So after selling the shop, I sold that car.
hmm
And at the same time, Kelly, who is my partner and she's also my co-driver, she at the end of Rally Colorado last year is like, "Hey, those guys from Skoda Motorsports talked to you." Um,
hmm
and one of the engineers was like, "Hey, you run a Volkswagen, you should get a Skoda Rally 2 car." And I'm like looking around, like over my shoulder. I'm like, I'm the guy with no crew and a
Yeah.
25-year-old, Tacoma. Like, who do you think I am? I can't do that.
Right. Right.
And the guy's like, he's like, well, call me, like let's see if we can get you into one of these cars, at least for a test event or something. I was like, okay. Well, I ended up never. I asked him how much one of those cars is, to import or bring in or
hmm
rent, and I was like, this is out of the question. Like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And we're driving back from Raleigh, Colorado, Kelly and I, and we had a good event. I got to race with George Plasek in the same class, which was one of my heroes
hmm
as a kid.
Yeah.
He's been around forever, and so we ended up third. He ended up first, and then Todd Hartman was driving one of these Fiesta Protos
Oh right. Yeah.
in that same class at Raleigh,
hmm
Colorado. And I started talking to him at one of the controls. I was like, Todd, how'd you get this car? Like, where'd you get it? Like,
Yeah.
it's in the country, it's yours, you own it, you're not renting it, you don't have to
hmm
like bring it in and out. And he told me the story and about how much it was, and I'm kind of building numbers in my head. And so Kelly and I are driving back from Raleigh, Colorado, and she's all in. She's like, hey, let's do this. Like,
Oh
let's.
yeah.
She's still kind of fresh. She's got a couple of years with me.
hmm
She went to the Dirtfish co-driver school with Alex and Rihanna,
Excellent.
um, and so she's really passionate about that. She's got this amazing skill to like kind of getting sidetracked here, but she's got this amazing skill. She's an ICU nurse, so she has this wonderful
Oh,
skill
okay.
to be really hyper focused on details,
Oh yeah.
but then remove an emotional aspect for when it comes to like difficult stuff,
Oh
like you would
yeah.
expect in an ICU professional,
hmm
where it's like, hey, this is all happening and it's all very serious, but we got a job to do. So it makes her a
Yeah.
really good co-driver. Um, and we have a great time together, but she's just the best. But we're driving back. She's like, I think we need to get into the next level car. And I was like, I think you're nuts because I don't know how we're going to be able to do this.
Right.
And she's like, well, let's start kind of looking around. And that's all I needed to try and go into this next car.
Yeah.
So it's like I started talking to everyone worldwide I possibly could about, hey, let's get a car from Lithuania or Spain, or let's bring one in from Mexico, or whatever it is. We're going to bring in a top tier car.
Right.
Um, and unfortunately, the way that imports were working,
Mm-hmm.
now obviously with our current administration that we've got right now, it killed that idea completely.
Yeah.
Like they went from a regular budget of, um, you know, an expensive car to it almost doubles all the costs of those vehicles to bring them in.
That's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. So I end up having to look for a car that was already in the country. And I end up finding a Fiesta, effectively prototype style rally car. But it's
Okay. Yeah.
not an Evo based drivetrain, it's a Subaru based drivetrain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a Fiesta that in Argentina they call them the Maxi class
Okay.
or the
Is that
Max
like
class.
what they would, some people I think referred to it as like a kit car, or is that
It
kind of
it's
the
it's
terminology
effectively a
used?
kit car, yeah,
Okay.
like a R4 kit car.
Right.
And
Okay.
in Lithuania, they're called the class is called N5.
Okay.
So it's like the next generation of Group N cars, kind of. So it's a Subaru drivetrain with a Peugeot 1.6 liter turbocharged engine in it, which is the same
Okay.
engine that came in all like the Mini Coopers and some
Oh,
BMWs
yes.
worldwide.
Yes. Okay.
It's the PSA engine, so it's super common. Um, but Kelly and I went and uh, this guy that races in South America raced this car for a couple of times in South America, and years ago brought it up here and raced it, I think, one time at LSPR,
Mm-hmm.
and then in like 22, and it's been sitting ever since.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He didn't even really have the car for sale, but through all these connections, like, um, you know, you talk to Roberto Iglesias, you talk to these guys in Lithuania, you talk to these guys in South America, and
Mm-hmm.
before you know it, you start building this weird like mystery map of who's got these cars and where. And
Right.
um, so Kelly and I flew out to Kentucky to meet the owner of the car, and Santiago Albon came out, who you
Yep.
talked to,
Oh, yeah. He's great.
and then Javier Castro, who I think may have won Snowdrift. We still don't know
Yeah.
because he was in the lead right after Leah
Mm-hmm.
broke. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Right.
There's still some weird stories back there too.
Yeah.
So Javier's there, and I'm going to test drive a couple of cars. And we test drove the Fiesta, and we test drove Javier's A1, and uh, they're incredible cars. Like these kit cars, comparatively to what I could produce by hand in my own garage, were
Yeah.
the next level of stuff. And so Taylor and I came home and thought about it for a couple of weeks and ended up buying this Fiesta.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it's been sitting for a while, and there's some things that I needed to be addressed, some different rule changes since the car was run.
Okay.
Because there
And
was really no
yeah.
RC2 class back then,
Okay.
just open
Anything
class.
major? Anything major as far as rules go, or?
I mean, the big one is that the restrictors were 34s, and now they're either 33s or 32s, depending
Okay.
on what class you run,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's RC2 or open class. And some of the aerodynamic rules, like you can't, some of the rear wing and aerodynamic aspects have changed.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but a lot of it is just some standard reprep that I needed to do. Like we went and tested it out at a local like off-road motorsports park, and we had a good like 60, 70 mile test, and the rear diff just like around one slow corner just blew up. Like it just exploded, like
Oh
broke the
wow.
case,
Okay.
everything. And so we're like back fixing that. And then you're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, can we make 100 acre wood? And it's like, well, okay, these guys at this local shop have the parts and the machine work to fix that diff. And okay, buy a spare, take the guts out, swap them,
Mm-hmm.
so like ZF Designs locally are the guys that rebuild all the like gearboxes and uh, rear diffs and do Subaru engine stuff. And
Okay.
I gave them the diff, and they made heads out of heads and tails of it and fixed it up. And but
Excellent.
yeah, there's all kinds of weird little stuff like I mean, it's primarily getting it back into hasn't been run for 3 years. So like all the fire extinguishers and the fire system, they need to be recertified, and all the
Oh
belts are
right. Yep.
expired, and like um some of the fiberglass body work had some breaks in it, so I had a fiberglass guy fix some of that stuff.
Okay.
Um and maybe I'm too particular. I bet you the car, honestly, all these wonderful South American guys that have been racing these cars forever would be like, dude, it's perfect. What are you doing? But maybe I'm
Right.
just
Right. Right.
a little bit too weird about like I want it just right,
Yeah,
and
I
I
get
don't
it.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I get it.
but we'll have to see. So it's I don't know. I'm excited to drive the car. I'm also you know, there's a lot in my head about it because it's a big car.
Yeah.
It's a serious car with serious speed and can do serious things, and it's one of those cars like a lot of the cars that I built before where if you're tentative, it doesn't drive right.
Yeah.
Like you have to be close to 10 tenths or right at 10 tenths to actually get the car to do what it's supposed to do. And this car maybe
Okay.
even
Yeah.
more than any. Like if you take a normal, road going Subaru and you put a couple diffs in it, suspension, and you set it up kind of mild or simple as a rally car, you can kind of drive 85, 90%, and it'll still reward you really well.
Mm-hmm.
These cars, if you drive backed off or tentative at all,
Yeah.
they don't turn, the shocks don't work because they're not hitting the right temperatures, the brakes don't work because they're not hitting the right temperatures. Like
Got it.
you really have to drive aggressive before it starts working. And then once it starts working the way it's supposed to, then you can drive even more aggressive and it works even better. But you have to get over that like
Yeah. It's
scary hump of like
right.
you have to go very, very fast to get it to work, and then it'll
Mm-hmm.
start to feel right.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah,
Oh, very
I'm
cool.
excited though, and we leave in, I mean, 20 days, 21 days for this event, and
Yeah, it's coming up fast.
I still got a list of stuff to mess with. I mean, the car is just jet black. There's no, it needs some sponsor decals or something on it. I mean, it's looking
Mm-hmm.
pretty basic right now.
All
So,
right.
but
So
yeah,
after 100 Acre Wood, what are your plans? I imagine you're probably obviously going to do Rally Colorado again this year. It
yeah,
being a national should be pretty exciting. But what other races do
yeah.
you have in mind?
Um, I was gonna try and do the national races I've never done. So yes, I'll go to Rally Colorado. I always like to go to Rally Colorado because, well, it's my home event,
Mm-hmm.
and um, we've won it, had some stage wins in the past there and
Yeah.
before, and Rupert and those guys are so great. They work so hard. It's like I feel like I always have to hit my home event so it never goes away. Like I always want to support it.
That's a good
But now
point.
it being a
Yeah.
national, so if I have a rally car and Rally Colorado exists, I will go to Rally Colorado. That's my plan forever.
Mm-hmm.
But we went to LSPR a couple years ago. Kelly and I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try and go to some other races that we haven't gone to. So depending on how this 100 Acre Wood goes, we might go and just recce Olympus, not enter, but just go and recce to look at it.
Okay. Kind of scout it out.
Just
Yeah.
scout it for a 27 season, and then we may try to go to Ojibwe, Minnesota, maybe Tennessee, and just try and hit some of those rallies that I've never done so we can
Hmm.
get some experience for, if I can find the uh, marketing groups to work with is to maybe run a 27 season in its entirety.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I don't know, I'm trying to like push my Facebook stuff and media stuff and uh, see if I can be an actual marketer for some of these companies, not just, hey, give me some money for sponsorship.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
I'm looking to be
Absolutely.
like, hey, I can push your sales through this car cheaper than you could have if you had a sales team come out here and try and push to these people,
Hmm.
things like that. And but it all sounds like so wonderful on paper, and then it's you got to get down to the real nitty gritty of like making that actually happen. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
but
it probably happened much like your new car did, coming back from Colorado, and your girlfriend
yeah,
says, "Oh yeah, let's do this." So it may just, you know, happen that
it
same organic way again,
may
Who knows?
maybe that's I think like uh I'm not a very patient person. I mean,
Mhm.
I am patient like when it comes to like dealing with small day-to-day stuff, but when it comes to like rally cars, I want to be like, no, I want to go to this event right now. Like
Yeah,
as
okay.
opposed to being like, well, maybe we should wait a little bit. And
Yeah.
so um I need to make sure that I've got all my box checks checked, racing wise and personally wise and all that stuff. So
Yeah. Okay, excellent.
yeah.
Well, good.
But
Sound
I hope
Go ahead.
yeah, I hope to see you at some of them. Are you gonna go to any?
I'm going to try. This year is again pretty busy with
Mm-hmm.
everything that I have going on. My local is Susquehannock Trail Performance Rally.
Mm-hmm.
So I volunteered there last year. I've been going for a few years as a spectator. And this year I hopped on board to help them with media,
Cool.
help them with, do the social media, help them with some of the design work for, the spectator guide and things like that. And then
That's awesome.
that's in July. And that what you said, support your local so it never goes away, kind of resonates with me. So
Yeah.
that's a very good point. But after that, for my 30th wedding anniversary,
Yeah.
I'm going to climb to the clouds in Mount Washington.
Cool.
So I'll be there
Yeah.
as media, and I'm there to try and interview as many of the 80 some odd drivers as possible. So
Awesome.
that
Yeah,
should be
I've
a
never
lot
made
of
it to that
fun.
hill
Yeah.
climb,
Yeah.
but I've wanted to.
There's a few folks that I hope do go there. I've had David Higgins on the podcast,
Yeah.
and he still doesn't like the fact that Travis Pastrana beat his record.
Sure. Yeah.
And I would love
Yeah.
to see the two of them back at it there. It would be something else. But no matter
Yeah.
who's
I
there,
mean,
it's going to be a lot of fun. So
yeah, yeah. It's the hill climb. We have a local hill climb series in Colorado, not just Pikes Peak, but the Colorado
hmm
Hill Climb Association. Just this little group of like kind of bring whatever you've got. And we run that season too.
yeah,
Really good test events and feeder events for rally cars. And it's a different kind of mentality because you're not playing this long game like I got to get through a whole rally. It's
yeah,
more like a one fast, pure lap or pass at this road, and then so you build and build and build up to this like one perfect setup and day and grip and everything is
yeah,
just right, and then you go and set your fastest time, and it really teaches you how to like to kind of go really fast when the car is good,
yeah.
but then feel how if the car is not good, like where to not crash and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
right.
So I don't know, it's pretty wild,
Well, this
but
year I think is the first year that the whole Mount Washington Auto Road is completely paved. So that
oh,
should,
it is.
I think it's now completely paved. So it's
Mm,
gonna sometimes hopefully will improve considerably. And I'm
sure.
looking
And
forward to seeing folks like Margaret Sharon of Frog Racing.
mhm.
Um, I think she's been the fastest woman on Mount Washington, so it's going to be exciting. But someday I'll
That's
make it out to
awesome.
Pikes Peak. But
Yeah, but Pikes Peak, I mean, when I was a kid, Pikes Peak was everything because,
hmm
well, it was an all dirt hill climb.
yeah,
And they started paving more and more and more of it. And since it was paved, I haven't really gone back that much. I still pay attention to it, but
hmm
I remember when it was dirt, it was just a different experience, and it brought a lot of pure rally drivers there. Now it seems to bring a lot more of road race drivers, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
fine as it moves along into the future. But it's like I miss the old full dirt days at Pikes Peak. It was a
yeah.
long time ago, though.
Even David Higgins had mentioned that he would love to take a cross cart up Mount Washington. Do a hill climb in a
Yeah.
cross cart. So I imagine that would be kind of scary, but
I mean,
for
yeah,
me.
but
But
I mean, Higgins like the same with man. So many of those guys. Seems like they never they never stop, racing. And I think it's kind of funny. Like even Jeff
yeah,
Swartz still races our local hill climb series and in his Porsche, and he's like he does a lot of Pikes Peak stuff,
yeah,
and he's been. I mean, he's got to be. I don't even know how old he is, but he still just every morning gets up and just sends it all the time, and he is so quick. And
yeah.
I don't know. I just one day when I grow up, I want to be one of those old guys.
Oh yeah, I'd like to interview Jeff too. He won STPR I think once or twice. So
So
I'm going to
long
be
ago,
working
though,
on
I'm
a
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
STPR is going to be 50 years old next year in 2027,
Okay.
since the first one is 77. So I'm going to put I think like a magazine like photo journal together about the 50th
Cool.
anniversary of STPR because I
I
think
think,
it's one of the longest running.
yeah, I always wanted to go to it. And again, your budget and your time and working
Yeah,
and having a real life outside of this, it's like I kind of want rally to just be all I do, but
yeah.
you know, we'll see. But I always tried to go to STPR and man, even getting to LSPR from Colorado it's quite a haul. So
Yeah.
it's like it I never got a chance to, but maybe one day I'll make it to all those big
Yeah.
ones.
So what
So
I'm trying to do is I've been talking to, and I want to do this at LSPR if I can. Maybe not this year, but next year. I've been speaking with some of the original drivers and organizers
hmm
from the 70s and 80s, and for the for the 50th next year, I'd love to sit down with these old timers and just do like a roundtable discussion and have them
hmm
tell stories and
yeah.
and kind of revisit a lot of the early days. And at some point, I would like to do that for almost, at least for SDPR and for, some of the national events where you have a lot of those folks that come out like to LSPR and that,
Right.
and just have them sit and BS and tell stories. I think would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
fantastic to hear. So,
Yeah. And that's the same. Like yeah, I mean Grant Hughes and I have spun trucks and trailers out on the highway. Like
wow.
just like the stuff that I don't think the racing will actually ever get us. It'll be like the outside of racing stuff.
It'll be
Because
getting
like
there or coming back.
yeah, like just driving through like a stand of like like wrist thick trees like off the highway at like 70 miles an hour in an old truck that, it would just like the stories go on. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I can't believe like the community that I've found in some of these people, and they're all so very like-minded too.
Yeah,
Like
right.
they're all very motivated, smart, calculating nutballs.
Yeah.
That they're crazy, all of them, but
Yeah.
they're all very like, they take care of their professional careers in real life so they can go race cars, and it turns them into all kind of the same like driven people that I
Yeah.
really I like, and they're all really smart, and they're all really kind of nuts,
Yeah.
and I like them.
Yeah, oh
So
yeah. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But what I got to
yeah.
tell you my one scary story.
Yeah.
Happened at Boone last year. And I
Okay.
went down there to do interviews, and it was my first time, so I was pretty nervous, didn't know what to expect, and interviewed Leah and Alex Gelsomino, and it was fantastic. But we were heading to the high school where they have kind of the command central,
Yeah.
and this drunk in a Chevy pickup truck came full, like, in our lane, ready to hit us head on.
You're kidding.
And in the South, all the roads have these big ditches on the side of the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this was like a real rocky creek and everything. And I
Yeah.
borrowed my friend's Tahoe to get down there.
Right.
And it just, like, what in the heck just happened? And I swerved enough where I swerved into someone's driveway that crossed the creek
Oh my
to
gosh.
avoid this guy. So I get to the command central there at the high school, and JB Nide is there, and he's like, "Oh man, you missed all the excitement." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, we had some drunk guy in a pickup truck go
Oh my
out onto the stage right before Connor Martell and Alex Gelsomino were about to
Right.
go."
Right.
And this guy's like, "Screw you guys, I'm going."
Yeah.
And he left, and somebody asked me what the license plate number was. I was like, how the heck do you, I wasn't like,
Yeah.
first thing in my head is not, oh, I got to memorize
What's
the
the
license
license plate?
plate.
Yeah.
So
It's
there's some
that.
crazy stuff that happens,
Yeah.
outside of the rally when you get into it
Well,
or from it.
I think that's a lot of it too. Like, um, is some of the stories that, like, the places that you go and the stories you build, not just behind the wheel.
Hmm.
It's like getting there and the weather and the stuff you have to overcome. It makes everything seem more manageable when you get home because it's so much simpler than rally.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
You know,
yeah.
like you can deal with so much stuff because rally is so weird and obscure. And then it also brings you to places. I mean, no offense to Marquette, Michigan, or Salem, Missouri, or any of
Hmm.
those places, or even Rangeley, Colorado.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go there
True.
necessarily
Right.
without, and you get to go and see some of these places, and they're spectacular. Like, I love them all. Like,
Oh,
every
yeah.
single place I've gone to, I'm like, I really like this. I think the worst place to go for a rally, maybe because I don't like casinos, is the Laughlin International Rally, and
Okay.
uh, and that was in Laughlin, Nevada,
Hmm.
and it's like Vegas, except not even as nice. Like,
Okay.
um, yeah, we went there a couple of times and crewed there and spectated that event, and
Hmm.
I'm like laying in the sand upside down, welding with a borrowed generator to like replace this exhaust pipe on Mitch Williams' car, who was a Dirtfish driver now or instructor now,
Yeah.
or I think he just quit or retired or something. I don't know. It's like the connections that you make, they're permanent, lifelong, and the stories, they'll never leave my head.
Awesome.
So it's great.
That's
Yeah.
excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
And
Well, thanks for having me, Jim.
oh yeah, it's been fantastic talking to you, and we'll definitely have to catch up. And you know,
Yeah.
I'm anxious to watch you this season. And uh,
Yeah, we'll see. I hope we can find some top 10 overalls nationally and um hopefully a podium somewhere in the RC2
yeah,
class at one of these events. So,
yeah, awesome,
yeah.
excellent. Yeah, I look forward to it. So,
Yeah.
and we'll chat again for sure. Thanks again.
Sounds good. Thanks,
All right.
Jim.
Yep.
All right.
If you'd like to be on the podcast, you can email me, jim@jimboothdesigns.com, or message me through Facebook at Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast, or Instagram, rallying_in_America. Special thanks to Brady Instruments, pro-grade, handmade, professional fuel hydrometers. Visit bradyinstruments.com for all of your fuel testing needs. Thanks to Toontank and the artist Nuclear Wave for the podcast theme music.